In this video, I toured Tarhill Farms, a lavender farm in Scotland. I learned the processes of growing the lavender and extracting the oils. It was a wonderful experience and I can't wait for you to enjoy with me. So let's go tour Tarhill Farms. Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Listen, it's Mac here. Today, I'm in Scotland in Tarhill Farms. Behind me is some English lavender and right in front of me is some French lavender. I'm going to show it to you. This is a lavender farm. I've already bought some oils. There's so much to see here. Let's go check it out. Here is just a small field of wildflowers. When you get wildflowers bunched in together like this, they look really beautiful. You can see the color combination there. It almost looks like the American flag, but there's some yellow in there as well. As you can imagine, the smells are just overwhelming because there's just so much lavender. And I've also never seen this many bees here in the UK. In Scotland, there are a lot of bees up here, but it's also to be expected. All of these blooms are putting out so much fragrance and the coloration is absolutely magnificent. So this is more lavender, and the great thing about this lavender farm is that you see it's planted on a hillside, and that allows for great drainage, which lavender needs. It can't hold a lot of water around those roots. And then of course, the last thing is the variety. You have to have the right varieties that grow in your environment. I've never had a lot of success growing lavender at home, which is why I come to farms like this. I love lavender. I love the smell of the essential oils. Essential oils have been processed for about 2,000 years. Lavender has been a part of that. So this farm is also growing, yes, a nice selection of St. John's wort. St. John wort is a historical medicinal plant with a lot of beneficial properties, but it could have some downsides to it as well. So you want to check with a doctor before you try to ingest any of it or take it as a pill or anything of that sort. So check with your local professionals on that. But as a plant that grows in a garden, it is really beautiful. I love the yellow coloration, just a nice clean yellow color, 5 petals, looks really beautiful. So here is a really old bug hotel, bug hostel, bug house, and this is for those beneficial bugs, mostly solitary bees and other insects. And this one needs to be refurbished, but what you do is you set these up, put those sticks in there, and those bees go in and they're able to lay their brood, produce, and then come back out. And I just saw what appears to be a bee or a wasp go inside of one of those. So this is still actually active. It's an old one, but it's really perfectly located right here with the wildflowers, the fields of wildflowers, and of course, all of the beautiful English lavender and lavender. As a Mediterranean plant, you can find lavender all over the Mediterranean. It is so unusual to be able to find it here in Scotland. To find not just one plant, but an entire lavender farm is truly a unique undertaking. So they're going to talk about that a little bit here, and I want to go find out a little bit more about how they're producing lavender here in Scotland.
So these are 2 types of lavender. These are a little bit bold. They've been for a few tours. This is a more accurate representation of our French lavender. And this is a more accurate representation of our English lavender. Like I mentioned, today's the first harvest of English lavender. So we're slowly going to bring them to the distillery and make that oils today. But the Latin name for our English lavender is Lavandula angustifolia. So in Latin, Angusti pointi folia leaf. If you cross-hybrid Lavandula angustifolia with the spike lavender, you get Lavandula cross intermedia. So basically, this is our English lavender, or obviously this is Scottish, and this one's our French lavender over here. So visually, color is a really big distinguisher. The French one has become a lot more purple recently, and it's more in full bloom. But the best way to distinguish is the English one is a more intense purple. The French one is a little bit more fainter. Well, now that we're starting to harvest, the English one is looking a bit more fainter as well. And the main difference is that the French one yields 2 times as much oil than our English one. Because it's got the spike lavender in its hybrid, it also allows the French one to flower as well. But the real distinguisher is in the scent. So whenever you guys are all ready, if you want to come down, grab one of the English and one of the French. We'll distinguish in the scent, and that's the real one. The best way to tell it. Once you've done that, hopefully everyone can smell it.
It's a really nice tour. They've explained the growing conditions, how to best test it to get the scents out of it. And now we're walking to the distillery, which this is the part that I wanted to see the most. Actually, how do they distill the oils out of the lavender blooms?
I'll wait and see what's happening with my if I'm using it or not. I've never used it before, so we'll see how it goes. So this is the main one we use, especially for our lavender. So this is copper still. It's got a few main parts to it, but overall, like once you go through it, it's quite simple. So there's a hot part here. So the kettle, steaming chamber, and the pipe here are all very hot. And then the condenser or the cooling tank is really cold, and we kind of describe that as alembic. And so what we'll do is we will get our kettle with water in it, and it kind of does, as any kettle would do, it boils the water. And that will create steam that will kind of rise up, and we'll have our plants in here. I'll kind of like a basket full of these plants here. We'll put them in here, and the steam will rise up and burst little pockets of oil that are in the plants. You'll see kind of when they flower, that's when the pockets are kind of opened up. So if you see any flowers, you'll get a lot of oil from that. The oil will come out as a vapour from the plants, and it will go up because it's really hot with the steam. It'll go up through this pipe and then down. We've got the water here, and there's kind of like a swirly pipe which gives it time to go from a gas up here, and then it comes out here as a liquid. And we kind of made this model, so we've got to shoot, and this is kind of what it would look like when it's running. We will actually start running it later on today probably, but yeah, this is our first harvest day. And then what will come out at the end of that is kind of something similar to this. So you've got here on top, you've got the lavender oil, and then you've got the lavender water or the hydrosol. And if you shake it and not drop it, you'll see within about 10 to 20 seconds, you'll see that it starts to form back on top like that. Because the oil will sit on top, and that also helps with separating the oil as well. You'll also kind of see these kind of stills on French or Bulgarian farms. We use copper because it creates a perfume grade oil, whereas the stainless steel ones, they'll kind of be still a good oil, but more used for things like floor cleaners. If you've ever seen like the lavender scented floor cleaners, things like that. We produce about 10 litres of oil in a season, and the rest of it we use in our products. So in like our soaps, lavender water sprays, and obviously our perfumes as well.
So we don't do anything different to how you're seeing it now. This is literally just the open water that we use. It's just like the ice.
I use copper for a few main reasons. First of all, it just kind of looks good. It's quite nice to look at. But also it's quite an efficient metal to use for the still because it's a really good heat conductor. So we want this entire process right up to here to be really hot. If it's not hot all the way throughout, then you might get the steam going back down into a liquid, and we don't want that at all because otherwise it won't come through the pipe.
Wow, that was so educational to learn about how they actually process the oils. I didn't know that much detail, and that's so wonderful to learn. So guys, this has been such a wonderful experience. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.